So, Plato's Critias and Timaeus, the text where the Atlantis story appears, it's been thoroughly retranslated, and it turns out that the word ocean, Atlantic Ocean, was never used. Plato never wrote the words Atlantic Ocean in his text. So have we been looking for Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean for like the last 200 years and he didn't even write it? Yes, we have. The Greek word for ocean is okeanos, Greek for ocean. Homer uses it in the Iliad, and Plato even uses this word in other dialogues such as the Phaedo. So Plato knew the difference between okeanos and the word he actually used to describe the geographical location of Atlantis. He chose not to use this word knowing that this meant ocean, just to clarify. But Plato decided to use the word pelagos repeatedly in the text. And the Atlantic pelagos, I hope I'm saying that right, it's a smaller body of water partially enclosed by land and or islands, like the Ionian Sea or the Aegean Sea. I don't know, you're probably like, well, how do we know that the new translation is legit? Why can't we trust the 18th century translators, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's because of this man. He's called George Sarantitis. He spent over 2 years and 4,000 hours working with Athens University, I don't know how to say this word, philologist? Either Dacia, to formulate the new translations. They examined every major ancient Greek text just to like cross-reference and clarify. They also reference 14 different etymological dictionaries, because no language stays static. So just because a word means something today doesn't mean what it means like even 10, 20, 300 years ago. For example, the word gay, like 100 years ago, meant like super happy, and then today has a very different meaning, means homosexual. So words can flip meanings. They can also be, you get it. The context is very important. So they referenced exactly what did pelagos mean at the time. And it's come, if you Google the word pelagos, it kind of means, it can mean as a basic translation sea, but when they deep dived into it, they realized that it's got a much more precise wording, which means a body of water surrounded by islands and or a continent. Okay, well, so as an example, as a little example, So as a little example of what a more accurate translation would read, when talking about the powerful civilization of Atlantis, this power came forth out of the Atlantic pelagos, for in those days the Atlantic was navigable. What do you mean? Well, when you go back scientifically, geographically in this area, and by this area I'm talking about the Gulf of Gabes in Tunisia, the Atlantic pelagos, back 10,000 years ago, the Gulf of Gabes actually had an entranceway, waterway, that entered into ancient lakes and waterways that crisscrossed all the way across ancient North Africa, like literally everywhere. This video is already quite long, so I'm going to have to do another one on how this all triangulates exactly with the Eye of the Sahara and how all this comes into it, because it was George Sarantitis, I've lost my voice, who was the first person to theorize about the Eye of the Sahara having anything to do with Atlantis. But exciting news, I will close in saying that there is currently an actual excavation. There is a dig happening in North Tunisia around this theorized site between these ancient lakes. They're digging down, I want to say 60 feet, no, 60 meters. I'm not sure quite what's going on, but they are seeing if they can find any evidence of habitation or anything going on around that time when the waterways here were navigable.